I used to go round and you could hear Tate's goal, Tate's goal.
So did he deliver it then?
Uh-huh. You'd think when they've got close, it's up and down 3 stairs. But he lived to his mid-80s. So.
This is sadness.
This is love.
This is fun.
This is respect.
This is adventure.
This is kindness.
This is identity.
This is learning.
This is family.
This is hope.
This is community.
This is nostalgia.
This is freedom.
This is life.
Well, we can just walk and talk, and you can tell us what you've brought for the archive, and then actually we'll get some photos. It's quite simple, really.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm guessing that you've brought your football.
I have. I brought my football. So this was the area that I would play football when I was a kid, and also my house was right there. So we'd come out here and we'd set a set of goals up over that side, and then we'd kind of set a set of goals up here. And there wasn't daffodils back then, so this was a good bit for hitting crosses in.
Okay.
So you could hit a cross in here.
Yep.
You'd have somebody in the box. Here, this would be the box.
Right.
In the box you would have somebody would be in goals, so it'd be good practicing for your headers and things like that. And it wasn't nearly as clumpy or kind of mossy back then, because actually people played football in it, but I've never seen anyone playing football.
This is a good wee wilderness.
It was. Sometimes it was about like 9 of us, 10 of us,
Yeah.
enough to like getting a proper 5-a-side. And then so this bit, I started to kind of use it for other bits down through the years as well. I started to kind of, when I was a bit older, I got a golf ball. I'd play golf here. So I'd be hitting golf balls down here, and one of the key things that I love to do, and I was always pretty terrible at golf, I'd get like 20 golf balls and sit here, and I would try and chip the golf ball. Imagine like that's all water, imagine that, and that's your green there, onto that bit. And occasionally I did hit buses, and the buses would
Did you have to run?
so they knew I wasn't trying to hit them. There was some, actually, I'm just remembering something. That bus shelter down there, plastic, like that old kind of like, and people would like menchie them and burn them and stuff. It used to be one of those ones, and it was a perfect size goal, and there was a bit of grass behind it. So again, we would play it and use that as a goal, but every time the ball hit the bus shelter, it would make some racket. So like the neighbours would come out and complain about it, and my mum and dad would often tell us we weren't allowed to play the bus shelter because the neighbours all complained. But we kind of did it anyway, so we're just rebels.
And when you think back on it, do you think, oh, those were the good old days? Is it rose tinted now, do you think?
Probably a wee bit. I mean, I did like just coming out. I suppose I probably just lived for football in a lot of ways. I'd come in from school, and the first thing I would do is get my stuff on, and I would just come right back out again. And I don't know if it's rose tinted or if it's just that. I don't know. Probably just a bit of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Were they perfect times? No. But they were. You look back in your childhood and you think, oh, that was. No kids will like be having that kind of fun now. And I look around it and there's bits of grass like this. You never see kids playing football on just a bit of grass anymore. Like, you think, you just don't see it. Occasionally if you go to the big kind of pit, the multi-use kind of games areas and national turf pitches, you'll see kids, but I kind of feel like the playing football on an old bit of grass with clumps and, ankle injury possibilities is kind of like, is gone. And so maybe that's a bit of the kind of rose tinted spectacles.
Our parents didn't really have anything to do with our play. Like, we were in charge of our own recreation.
Yeah, and I think I really do. Like, I don't want to be like pure one of those kind of guys that kind of berates modern technology, but like, I mean, the amount these days that kids would be like sitting playing online gaming. Like that wasn't really an option. It sounds like when you start talking about that, you feel like you're a really old person. Like the kids these days on their screens, but there is something about it that's like the art of play and being outside has probably been lost a wee bit.
Yeah.
Or these days, when you look at the kind of football, it's much more kind of sanitised and it's much more kind of clean. Whereas back then, it felt like it was kind of like wild football.
What's me now? What's me now? No. What's me? What's me? What's me? What's me? What's me?
They got built. Okay, so I'm just trying to get my bearings. I've got a photo of this. So we faced Celtic Park, so I guess it was up here more. We faced Celtic Park, and my grand's house, I'll show you, I've got a picture. She's a corner house, I'll show you. And we watched from the window, we cleaned the cars. As they parked the cars, we would go out and clean the cars, get a bit of money. And the thing is, my grand's family were staunch Protestant facing Celtic Park. So you can imagine what went on, right? And I remember my daddy's side were Catholic, so my brother was Celtic, and I remember there was never any animosity or anything, but I remember going to some of the games. So obviously this has changed a lot. I've got pictures of it before all this changed, and I get my photo taken.
So, I know that's so funny how I know it'll have changed so much then. When were you last here?
Oh, when I was about 11. So, right, there's Celtic Park, which is that way, and there's Budden Street, which is this way, so it's the opposite way about. There's my grand's house here, this one to here, one up, it'll be two up, this is the bedroom, so this is the window we would have sat at. All the cars are parked around here, but look what Celtic Park looked like then. And this is your London Road, and I guess my gran is standing, well to me she's standing in the London Road, but the guy that overlaid the map here said no, she's not, she's standing, that's her standing in the estate, in the old lamppost.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, so that's my brother. He was 11 years older than me, so I wasn't even born here. So yeah, he would be, I don't know.
Yeah, like 18 months or something.
Yeah, probably. So
our family photos are so
I've got twins, I've got loads here. Yeah, that's just, I don't think that shows you, does it, at night? And I remember someday Steve had said to me, oh, the Emirates or the Velodrome, whatever, is where your grand's house is, so they've pulled it all down. All these houses would have been all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of flats. My granddad or my mum's, I think great granddad, I don't know, they had a chip shop up here. But yeah, you can imagine the roar from here. Like, and yeah, we washed the cars here. So yeah, it was a really busy place because my friend's Celtic, very Celtic school. Oh, I would have loved that, but when I was younger, I never thought anything of it. I never thought, I don't know, I never gave it a thought. So, yeah.
You're just used to what you're used to, aren't you, at that age?
I suppose it's a shame they pulled them all down, but then they would have been getting older.
Yeah.
And then they wanted this here.
Yeah.
So, development, isn't it? It's all development. But these would have went. Loads of my uncles worked in the forge. Loads of my granddad's granddads and all that, they all worked, because I've done my family history and they all worked in the forge. They're all ironmongers and they all worked in there because they came down from Tyree and they all lived in the East End. Everybody lived in the East End. And I was born there, but we moved to the West End. So that's why I don't really... I came till I was 11 here, and when my gran died, I stopped coming because everybody moved to housing schemes like Cran Hill. Still in the East End, but away from this wee bit. Yeah.
So have you enjoyed doing your family history? Have you done that recently, or has that been something you've done
years and years ago? So I've not picked it up. It's just in a box, it's up in the loft. But yeah, I've done an awful lot. It's East End. It's my dad's family go back to the East End as well. We seem to have came, but then I think it's work.
Yeah.
I think it's just because the East End, they always put works in the East End because it's the way the wind blows, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you get factories with smoke, that's how the East End of London anywhere. You've got all your industries in the East End because it all blows out the way, whereas the West End was more sort of affluent, if you like, and more suburban. It was here, it was poorer. So I just think I don't know, it's quite nostalgic that our house is in there. Or just every street I had a relative in.
I brought a school photograph of me.
Wow.
The year is 1955, which is long before any of you were born. But the reason I thought you might be interested in it, the war has only been finished 10 years. Now that didn't dawn on me till I was looking at the photograph, and I thought how sort of with it we look and well dressed.
Yeah.
And whether it was that we were totally shielded from it because our parents didn't do what parents do nowadays and tell their children everything. And so they looked quite normal. And but I went to school at East Bank in Shettleston. And so I was actually in primary school when the war was still on. And one of the very strong memories I have of that, and I think this is maybe in my mind because people have been saying, oh, what we've gone through this year is nothing like what people did in the war. So I was trying to think. I couldn't remember anything very terrible, but I do remember one night waking up and my uncle and my dad and my mum were having a cup of tea. The night while we were doing this, and it turned out a bomb had fallen in the street parallel to us, and my uncle had come to see if we were all right. So that reminded me of things, because I suppose I would just have been 5 before the war finished, because I'm so old.
Are some of your first memories then the war ending?
I don't really remember that, but I do remember for a long while afterwards, I dreamt about a shop in Shettleston. It was a lovely baker's, but in my dream there was arms and legs in the window. And I think I must have heard something on the radio and not known, and that would have been when they found the camps. Yeah, because I would have been maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And maybe 7. And so that's, and I remember going to the shelter, and then we gave up going to the shelter and just stayed in. But, I do remember the siren. There was an all clear, which was different from the siren that went off to tell you to go into the shelters. And then there was a different sound that was the all clear, and I can remember that. But I'm only remembering this, I think, because of people talking about the war, because I never think about it, obviously.
This is nostalgia.